Wasn't that awesome? That's what's happening to us. We're awake. We have to find our voice. Thank you, DC. And now, I'm going to introduce Councilman Jim Odie. Here's Marshall.
Sorry, I was caught up going out in the crowd and seeing all of these amazing signs. My goodness, you guys are awesome. So, Jim Odie has almost 2 decades of community service and local government experience. He currently serves as the district director for our state assembly member, Robert Bonta, and works to help residents of Alameda solve problems and improve their quality of life. He's a proud parent of 2 young adults who are educated in Alameda's public schools. He served as the first chair of the city's Open Government Commission, ensuring government operated in compliance with the city's Sunshine Ordinance. He also served in the city's America's Cup Ad Hoc Committee, which was instrumental in bringing jobs and economic development to the island during America's Cup 34. He also served on Alameda Hospital's Finance and Management Committee, where he helped strengthen the hospital's finances and keep the ER open. He grew up in the Chicago suburbs, where he worked hard alongside his parents to make a good home. Their desire to give back to the community influenced his decision to go into public service. He graduated from Indiana University and got his MBA from Loyola University in Chicago. As a working parent, he earned his law degree from the University of San Francisco. I am honored to present Councilman Jim Odie, President of the Alameda Democratic Club.
Thank you. Good afternoon, San Francisco. I swear I have a much more exciting life than that bio presented. So I want to ask everyone a question before I start. There's the word president. Okay, that's a sentence. And there's the word Trump. That's another sentence. Raise your hand if you've never used those in a sentence together. All right. Ever. Okay. He's not my president either. So as I'm standing here in Justin Herman Plaza, my memory goes back to the same gathering of crowd maybe 16 years ago. And we were protesting the last fraudulent election we had, the 2000 election. There's a lot of young people here that probably don't remember that. But we marched from here all the way down Market Street to City Hall, and we thought everything was great, that we were protesting, we were going to get rid of the fraudulent president, and then we saw what happened, right? We all know what happened next. We had September 11th, we had the unlimited war on terror, so to speak. We had the war in Iraq, which we were led into under false pretenses. But what happened? I mean, we all had, in the East Bay, I'm from Alameda, council member in Alameda, so shout out to Alameda for impeachment there. We have probably the best member of Congress that anyone could ever ask for in Barbara Lee. Let's give it up for Barbara Lee. So Barbara Lee was the only member of Congress that said, no, I'm not giving you, President Bush, I'll say that, I'm not giving you, President Bush, a blank check to wage war forever. Okay? And look what happened. Just last week, the Republican Congress decided to repeal the authorization of use of military force after 16 years. And then there was the Iraq War. I, with many of other Democrats in Alameda, asked our then city council to pass a resolution saying no war. We don't want to go to war. And at that time, we were one of many cities that did that, and people laughed at us and they said, why are you doing this? I mean, this isn't going to make a difference. But sure enough, after years, and we had a taking back of a Congress and a brand new president, we finally got rid of the war in Iraq and we were out of Iraq. So the reason I say that is because it reminds me of Dr. King. I'm going to mess up this quote, but the moral arc of the universe is long, but ultimately it bends towards justice, right? So we all have to start somewhere and then gain momentum. And that's what we're doing here with this effort. Alameda, I was proud with my colleague, Vice Mayor Malia Vela, I was proud to bring forth a referral in the city of Alameda to call for the investigation of Trump. And we were one of the first, but we will not be one of the last. Now there's, I think, 13 cities so far that have called for an investigation and impeachment. And we did this before the Comey firing. We did this before the obstruction of justice that we've seen. We did this before the special prosecutor. So I just want to point out, I mean, there's a lot of political reasons why we can oppose that man in the White House. You know, I can see a lot of them here today. You know, his attacks on the disabled, his attacks on the media, you know, his failure to even acknowledge that this is Pride Month in the United States. And, you know, just the march towards the fascist state, which all of us are going to do our best to stop. But I'll go back to another presidential quote, President Nixon. The American people need to know if their president is not a crook. So we need to know if the president colluded with another country to steal our election. Our elections, the most fundamental function of our American democracy and American history. And we need to know whether he conspired with a country that has nuclear weapons pointed at us to take over our country. We need to know whether he's in this job to benefit Americans or just to benefit his bottom line. We need to know these things. Americans have a right to know these things. So that's what we're asking for. So to all of you, we need to keep up the pressure. We need to go city by city like we're doing, state by state. I give a shout out to Assembly Member Evan Lowe, who has an Assembly joint resolution that calls for the investigation of Trump. So please do our best to support that. I'm proud of the city of Alameda. I'm proud of this movement. I'm proud of all of the cities that are going to come after us. Let's keep fighting until our country knows the truth. Thank you very much, everybody.
And we will keep up the fight.